Hi guys, 10 p.m. straight up. Welcome to Robin Hood Diaries, part of a series on No Holds Barred TV, separate from our 6 degree separation chats. Those are not even kind of woven into the theme of my show for clarification. Those are just my Rolodex sort of fantasy fun times. However, I know that the teaser for this evening's show was quite clickbaity. Uh, you could call it extremely clickbaity. But we only have so much time this evening, so I'm going to move things along. Yes, the title was that I had a boyfriend who was a married police officer. But that is only part of a larger picture here this evening. I was going to title this evening's show For Those on the Fence. So I think I've provided sufficient clarification on what I'm doing here, and certainly my relationship with you guys. Speaking of which, I don't look necessarily at analytics, but I am seeing certain things, and I want to say, aside from all of the United States, for whom I'm very appreciative, shout out to the UK. Anyway, so uh, I'm not dying with my secrets, guys. I'm not doing it. This is still going on. I hear it from people. People, because of this show, tell me they contact me and let me know the same types of things that I endured, which leads into the other part of my show, which is why did Sean get married? And good question. I actually married my soulmate at the time, who posed as my best friend and also was a beard, the most loving kind of soulmate beard. And the reason that I felt that I needed a beard was because I was under attack by Hollywood for being gay, both directly and indirectly, and especially directly. Um, Earlier tonight, I had sort of read off what I was going to speak about tonight, which included, uh, I don't know, it said stuff about directors or CEO, I don't know, intimate encounters, and some other things. What can I say? I ended up working with an actor that I had had a very unusual encounter with, where it was very uncomfortable, and so forth. So that's book stuff. That's very much book stuff, and that is slightly Robin Hood episodes, and it is certainly not at all necessarily 6 degrees separation chats, all under the umbrella, of course, of No Holds Barred TV. Back to the point. So, why did Sean feel the need to get married to his soulmate at the time, which was in 1987? Well, again, I was under attack by Hollywood, indirectly, directly. Casting directors were doing things and behaving certain ways. Directors were doing things and behaving certain ways that were that they had no business doing or behaving that way. So, what can I say? I mean, that is warfare. And I was only equipped to a certain degree to tackle that warfare. I couldn't get out of it. I was being told left and right, directly and indirectly. For example, I've mentioned before, I was halfway, through a shooting of Bosom Buddies. And just before we got to the dress rehearsal, I was fired. And this is only allegedly through my talent agent. So that person, I believe, is dead, but if they're not, you can call them. That Tom Hanks dropped me from that episode because I was too effeminate. Again, secondhand information, not libelous, but it's the truth. And I had experienced that many, many times. One of the euphemisms for being gay at that age was precocious. That may sound like an innocuous word. It was not at the time. It was actually code for effeminate, for lack of many other words. Um, But so since the show is what it is, and it is very much connected to my book is forthcoming hopefully by June 7th. Um, and if not before, I will, kind of gladly show you fun sort of tablet receipts of it's on the way, it's being mailed or whatever. So we can get excited. So at that time, being under attack, I essentially basically cut to the chase. I took my mother to lunch. And I told her that I was going to get married to Rita because she's all over the internet as my wife, which she legally was for 5 years. We were not cohabiting for 5 years, but nonetheless. I told my mother this. She was very bizarre and indifferent and half indignant and half sad and happy and all those wonderful things that she was growing up. So that was a wash. So I went ahead and did it. I went ahead and got married, Rita, and I decided to do it, to get married, you know? So that's what we did. And while we were married, I met Tim. We all know about Tim and John. Tim, my lover, who passed away. My other soulmate, his brother, who also passed away thereafter. There was a period of time after that that I refer to as the lost weekend, or in this case, the lost. Well, it was just after the death of Johnny, who was Tim's brother. Two in a row. Before I met my husband, before I fell in love with my husband, and then we started cohabiting immediately. So in that time, I refer to as the lost weekend. It was a very desperate time for me. I had moved out of a married, closeted situation that had become very sort of, it was sort of Helsinki syndrome to the concept of being married and staying in the closet to save my career. Then I went into the horrors of Tim, John, taking up all that time during the AIDS crisis at its peak. And then the first scenario that I get moved into after that, boyfriend, relationship, whatever you want to call it, not a relationship, was with a married police officer. And he was married to a female. And I had come out of this very supernaturally bizarro, closeted life because of my work. And then here's the presentation of a situation of somebody in the same situation. And it's not bizarre because it's like how worlds away of it is it from being this terrified, closeted actor who feels forced to be married to stay in the closet. Because incidentally, what I will talk about in another story is that I was basically forced to do that kind of thing because somebody that had a very uncomfortable encounter with me sort of let me know that I needed to do that or certain things would come out. That's another show. So I had this last weekend after my marriage, and I meet this gentleman who is a police officer with the Los Angeles Police Department. Same parallel universe situation. What can I say? Married, closeted, desperate for a career. Married, closeted, desperate for a career. The horrors of HIV stabbed me through the heart. And then my first opportunity for another boyfriend is with a married police officer in the same closeted situation. So for those of you who are on the fence about my show, know that it is in line with a book and a story. It doesn't mean that when I go through my Rolodex that I'm making everybody come into my cult or thread or theme. That is my theme. This is my station, channel, and those are the components thereof. So no unnecessaries here. No unnecessaries. We've discussed them. They're apologies that you have no business giving. I am anonymous in my blind items, and I am not malicious in any way. This is a seance, and it is redemption. And I'm not, as I said, dying with these secrets, because when I go, there's virtually no one left to tell them, and then they disappear. They disappear like so many other things, right? In our society, they just go away. They go out of the books, they go off film, they get erased, wiped away. Well, No Holds Barred Television, the Robin Hood Diaries, and my book, The Slaughtered Princes of West Hollywood, is here to make sure that that does not ever happen. Thank you for joining me this evening. We will have a lovely show tomorrow, and I'm hoping to get a very special guest within the weekend or early next week. Take care. I love you. You know that, as always, and be good. Or at least don't do anything I wouldn't do. Bye.